Welcome back. And now we're, of course, continuing with the newspapers this morning. We're joined by Dotun Ojon, who's going to be x-raying these papers with us. But let's get into the Vanguard newspapers. This morning on the Vanguard, Ondo State, how APC's Aiyedatiwa flawed PDP's Ajayi and others. Discordant tunes trail APC's World Congress in Rivers. Inflation trend overruns federal government's target to cross 35% by year end. Many people, have obviously said that Nigeria's inflation is definitely not 34 or 35%. It's way more than that, but let's be comforted with 35. Tinubu departs Abuja for G20 Leaders Summit in Brazil. Nasima petitions federal government, alleges illegal operations of NIBC India in Nigeria. Sokoto farmers to federal government intensify efforts to flush out Lakrowa terrorists. Nigeria, India to boost economic, defense, health, and food security ties. And of course, court stops NBC from imposing fines and sanctions on broadcast stations. Those are the stories on the Vanguard. I think on this day, newspapers will quickly just throw that in. This Nigeria, I beg your pardon, says here, Ondo Aiyedatiwa of APC knocked out PDP's Bola to clinch gubernatorial ticket. Nigeria and India reinforce strategic partnership as Tinubu confers GCON on Modi. 3,767 killed and 22,000 others injured in auto crashes nationwide. Lagos residents worry as onion price rise by 50%. All right, let's quickly bring in Dotun Ojon, who's looking like a referee this morning.
He's about to, what's the word? What does the referee do? He's about to stand as an umpire between Aiyedatiwa, PDP and APC.
Yeah,
thank you so much.
So let's quickly get your analysis on the elections. Those who said that it had, its flaws. There's those who also said that INEC, did a pretty decent job this time. The flaws were not significant enough to dent the credibility of the elections. And then also, what is the job set, for Governor Lokeye that you are going forward?
Okay, so I have to be very, very clear. I have been a principal part of the election from the very beginning to what happened on Saturday. And I must confess to you that what happened on Saturday was the decision of the people, but the result of it may not be their desire. And because at every point in time, heavily votes were bought. At least I was around town and I saw it firsthand. In fact, we had actually, today Monday, 8 a.m., we had given instruction to an agency to actually go back to Ondo State to understudy so that we can know the percentage of people who voted and did not sell their vote. And I tell you that they may not be more than 1%. Virtually, yes, they may not be more than 1%. It's as if the people have decided that they were going to cash out this time. We have this communal mentality of everybody wanting to get their share of the national cake. And because of bad governance over the years, people have come to the conclusion that the only way to actually get the politician to pay them for whatever thing is to actually collect money from them on the day of election. Unfortunately, this has also denied credible people an opportunity to actually, even when they get to the ballot, to be able to be known by the people or have an opportunity to lead their respective states. So, to be clear, the people decided that they were going to go for the money. They went for the money, but I only pray that at the end of the day, the winner has actually been announced. I only pray that at the end of the day, the people will be the ultimate winner, because like I said, I do not want to hear complaint from anybody who actually participated in the process that was heavily. In fact, this is the first time, and I just want to be as plain as possible, that one vote cast will go as high as 20,000, 15,000 in some areas, and majority of the places for 10,000. And that does not mean that perhaps the other party did not buy, but what really happened is that it was on the table, negotiation happened, and the sellers went for the highest bidder.
That's very, very heartbreaking. The initial reports that we had didn't state how widespread the vote trading was. It felt like it was just in a few, polling units, and that's it. But from your, experience and what you witnessed, it seems to be much worse than that. We would, dig deeper, but we're running, out of time. I want you to speak on Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa. Is there a lot of expectations, from him for Ondo State, or is Ondo State just meant to just, exist, and governors just come in and out and maintain status quo, not change anything? Governor Akeredolu, of course, had his critics, before he passed. So what do you expect from Governor Aiyedatiwa?
Oh, it's just, as we have seen, it's just a better life for the people. It's quite saddening that as we speak now, Ondo State is not different from the Nigeria situation where there's hunger in the land and all of that. But again, I had repeatedly said it, that our governors can do more than they are presently doing across board, because on every soil you step on in Nigeria today, it actually belongs to a state government. Instead of having to put our eyes up there always, we know that the economic policy will be made at the level of the federal government, but the gains always come to the state, and the state must develop the ingenuity to be able to translate this gain that they have to the gain for the people. And what do I mean? For the first time, before Akeredolu passed on, our allocation was hovering around 7 billion. But now Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa had access to good money. In some cases, he had access to up to 12 billion naira every month. So we just expect, as good people of Ondo State, I think we just expect him to be the kind of governor that will be able to wipe tears from the faces of the people. And it is not like the Yorubas will say. They say the wisdom required to live in a house is actually more than the one required to build a house. So now he's been declared. I don't know whether they are going to court, but after the back and forth, I think the people just expect him to sit down and be able to translate the prosperity of their state to their personal prosperity.
Wow, I mean, it's really just a lot that is expected from the state governor, a lot that is expected from the citizens as well. Earlier, we're speaking with our guest who was talking about vote buying, and our correspondent had said, unfortunately, that vote buying had come to stay. And it's really a concern to see how, even though we have poverty, and right now we can't fight that off, and it's been weaponized, to find that we can still be able to achieve, what we want, regardless of the challenges that we're facing as a country. But let's move to another paper. Let's still look this morning at the front page of the Vanguard newspaper. All right? On the front page of the Vanguard there, yes, it's talking a lot about Ondo, but then let's talk about...
I think we can quickly just speak on the
before Asu, you have something else.
Yeah, the visit of Narendra Modi to Nigeria.
And the conferment.
Exactly, as GCON. There's, of course, a few people who mentioned, of course, Nigeria-India ties and, the relevance of our ties to India, the conferment of GCON, and, of course, the BRICS committee, which, of course, there's rumors that Nigeria might also be, like they say, being toasted, to join BRICS if possible.
It will now become BRICS N.
BRICS.
Oh, BRICS no.
No, it will be BRICS. The N will be before the C.
So I think why PDP came out to say, oh, this is not what is needed at this point in time, is because of the fact that I think at this point in time, people expect more from government. And of course, as a person who has peeped into our diplomatic practices over the years, I can also tell you of a fact that we have so many similar things with India in terms of population, in terms of coming out from being a third world country. I don't know how fast we would do that at the level of Nigeria. But again, one of the concerns is actually the fact that you don't use personal relationship to actually run government, as it were, because there were allegations here and there that our own president is actually a friend to Modi, and all of these things are happening. I just want us to know that every policy we make, every decision we make, every program we embark on, and every policy that emanates from government should be at least for the good of the people. And once it's for the good of the people, there will be less of self. And I think that's exactly what the PDP is trying to say when they released that statement, saying that that is not what is needed at this point in time. But I want to believe that the president understands more. He has access to more information than everybody. But again, I have to also tell him that the people in his community are desperate to see his government change them, not necessarily to see his government award anybody anything.
Okay, I want us to quickly take this story as quickly as we can on the front page of the Punch. Dangote Ipman signed 240 million liters monthly petrol deal. Are you excited?
Okay, I don't know whether I should be, because it has not in any way brought down the price of petrol to below 500 naira per liter. And it's disheartening if somebody was making a calculation yesterday and he was saying, oh, I went from one point to the other with 7,000 fuel. And that particular distance now will cost him about 70,000. I think more transparency is needed. And I know that Dangote cannot come out to say everything that, quote unquote, that his eyes have seen in this process of trying to make his refinery work. What that means is that I've seen it, that's about 240 million liters per month that will be coming to the independent marketers. It's something to be excited about. But again, when there are speculations in the community that importation is better than local refinery, then refining, then I think it's nothing to actually be happy about. Because a lot of us were thinking that if we can actually patronize local refiners, not just about Dangote. We have 25, what do they call this, the modular refineries in Nigeria, with about 12 of them now working. We were thinking that if we can patronize them, that will lessen the pressure on the dollar and thereby at least giving strength to our naira. But now the new grammar that importation is better than local refining is what we are trying to wrap our heads around.
All right. Dotun Ojon, well, good luck to the people of Ondo State. We definitely will keep our eyes on them, and Governor Loki Datiwa as well. Thank you very much for joining us this morning, and we wish you a very interesting week ahead.
Thank you so much.
All right.